Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. Today, we from Group 5, we want to presentation about our journal that with title Detterence under Nuclear Asymmetry, Path and the Prospect for Missile Defense on the Korean Peninsula. Before we continue about our presentation, I would like to introduce our member from Faisal Yusuf. There are Faisal Yusuf, Muhammad Faisal, Tuan Alvino, Leonardus, Jihan Pratiwi, dan Kezia Diramoti. So we pleasure for Jihan to presentation. Thank you.
Okay, I will go first to presentation, and I will explain about abstract, capabilities for extend deterrence, and setting the analytical scope. So the first is abstract. The decision in 2016 to deploy Terminal High Area Defense, or THAAD, to South Korea has resulted in many highly politicized and controversial issues. There is an optimal way to ensure South Korea national security against North Korea missiles by checking the ability to balance and the issue of credibility and showing that the expansion of prevention by the US through punishment remains valid and is quite credible even without increasing defense to that. And the second is capabilities for extends deterrence. Stability in military capability is a deterrence for against North Korea, which is very important in South Korea military. Overall, the U.S. nuclear weapons remains unmatched in the current unipolar international system. In 2018, the U.S. disposed of 105 oh sorry uh 1550 were nuclear warhead to 2220 strategic warhead and 3000 strategic warhead in central storage based on projection made by the Federation of Atomic Scientists, or PAS. It should be noted that U.S. nuclear capability can easily attack of North Korea, small armory, even without the aid of the HAAD defense. Although North Korea has been able to develop ballistic missile weapons technology at the end of this year, it has not been able to attack the U.S. mainland. For the U.S., a massive revenge must be based on the current nuclear balance, which also serve as a deterrent to nuclear attack and military provocation from North Korea. And keyword in this journal is security dilemma, ballistic missile defense, or BMD, terminal high altitude area defense, or THAAD, extends deterrence, North Korea. The competing interpretation proved to be highly escalatory and destabilizing, as evidenced by a series of diplomatic confrontations, retaliatory economic measures, and even led to talk of potential military strike in the following months. The THAAD debates also became exceedingly complicated and intensely politicized. For it involved diverse set of actors in the region whose competing strategic preference collided at multiple levels. And the last is setting the analytical scope. We justify this analytical choice for two reasons. First, the United States and ROK, or Republic of Korea, officially justify the deployment predominantly in terms of the HAAD defense value, and therefore whether it could really deliver the promised defense determines its legitimacy. And the second reason is, despite its centrality in the overall controversy, the nature of the HAAD technical capability tend to be assumed away rather than put under close scrutiny in the literature. Okay, that's all my explanation. Thank you.
Yeah, next, qualified optimism. The advocates critics tend to agree on two basic commonalities on the THAD defense capability. On the one, the more missile defense, the better it is completely undefended without HAAD, and therefore constructing an additional shield would over both an national defense layer and psychological comfort to South Korean defense. Another shared view is that the HAAD is far from a complete system against North Korean missiles. Advocates accept technical limitations of the HAAD, and that achieving a complete missile proof is not viable. The difference between advocates and critics is on the marginal value of adding this imperfect but not positive DMD system. The former is more favorable to it than latter. Next is the THAAD advocates. The advocates base their support for THAAD on two related but distinct dimensions. The first is THAAD boasts one of most advanced DMZ technologies available. The second one is THAAD ancient US ROK alliance, Detterence by denial. Next, Faisal.
And next is the critics. Critics point out that its deterrence effects are not as warranted as posited by the advocates. Mainly due to technical inadequacies and unknowns in the THD system, there are the three critics for THD. First is environmental condition while THAAD was tested, and the second, the gap between THD technical, and the third is geographical condition regarding the strategic distance of North Korea's missile line. Next is overall evaluation. The dynamic analysis paints a grim picture for proponents of THD. The critic says that it is much easier to build effective missile that can penetrate missile defense system than to build an effective ballistic missile defense system. Scholars and analysts tend to be suspicious of the THD capability to withstand possible and countermeasure, which results in various negative assessments that range widely from too limited to modest and insufficiently reliable. And next is extended nuclear deterrence on the Korean Peninsula. There are two types of deterrence, that is general deterrence and extended deterrence. General deterrence, which aims to prevent an attack on its own territory, and the second is extended deterrence, aims to affect the cost calculation of adversaries, specifically dissuading them from attacking USA.
Next, that defense capability. What advocates and critics say. According to critics, that is still unproven and unreliable, and is also limited in defense capabilities. In contrast to its supporters, they are optimistic about the added value of defense and consideration. That support, base their support. Okay, according to critics, that is still unproven and unreliable and is also limited in defense capabilities. And in contrast to its supporters, they are optimistic about the added value of defense and consideration. That supports base their support because there are two things. First, that uses one of the most advanced BMD technologies available, proven by 100% success ratio in all 14 improvements that have been success since 2005, including the first and last 4 ballistic missile in July 2017. Second, because it supports missile capabilities who support that increased opposition to the US frog by refusing. While critics agree the agreed effects are not approved by that advocates because the technical and system defense are not yet understood. Next, manipulation countermeasures. Countermeasures against that take two forms. First, avoidance. Countermeasures refer to missiles that fly outside the TAT altitude or radar coverage. Second, manipulation. To fail the TAT system, one must get technical difficult in the missile flight path. That will increase the current complication of hit to kill interceptors and automatically intercept missiles with only stable and straight movements.
Okay, next, I will explain about the countermeasures against the HHD. United States alliance South Korea. United States alliance with South Korea produced several effective countermeasures to override the HHD development option. The effective countermeasure to override the HHD development options, other options are made which are considered more effective because in practice the development of the HHD will actually have more cost. And next, I will explain you about the credibility and commitment to prevention. The credibility and commitment of the U.S. in its prevention need to convince North Korea that the U.S. is willing to do everything to defend its allies in the era of George W. Bush. The U.S. had a strong aim since the post-Cold War era in this region, East Asia. Judging from the three customary policies, which are more interest, more involvement, and more quality assets, central to regional security in the balancing strategy in the U.S. alliance with Japan and South Korea. Therefore, the U.S. continues to issue official statements and documents to reaffirm its seriousness and commitment to the maintenance of long-term prevention in East Asia. In the era of President Donald Trump, the U.S. said it was able to destroy North Korea. This was a response from the trials that conducted by North Korea. The U.S. and South Korea continue to build larger institutional alliance to increase the effectiveness to prevention. That's all from me.
So in the last, I am Lego Sanda. I would like to tell about our critical review of this journal. According to the author of the journal, development of TAT was considered ineffective because the legal mechanism system aimed at Pyongyang related to the ownership of Pyongyang's weapons and the allied relations that exist between the United States, South Korea, and Japan were sufficient to make a prevention to North Korea nuclear weapons. Furthermore, in the journal discussed above in the TATs, technical capabilities tend to be considered lacking in accuracy or accuracy in their application. In addition, Group 5 compares with another journal, namely Institute for Security and Development Policy, that published in 2015 with the title, Why South Korea Needs TAT Missile Defense. That discuss about South Korea, Japan, and the United States need a more effective anti-ballistic missile system to face the increasing threat of nuclear and missile North Korea through the establishment of THAAD. As the existence of THAAD system on the Korean Peninsula will increase South Korea defense against nuclear, biological, and or chemical attacks that have the potential to become disaster and also hamper Pyongyang's ability to engage in coercive diplomacy. And however, in the two journals we have discussed for this critical review, there is a similarity that discussion about the role of China wants to take a decision on South Korea national security by being able to veto the procurement decision of Seoul's defense. So Group 5 will try to analyze the case through the perspective of neo-realism, and neo-realism depart from a different tradition from classical realism. Neo-realism focuses on international structure that influence the behavior of actors or countries. And through the lens of international political neorealism as an arena for international politics to struggle for power, and neorealism believes that state behavior tends to be conflictual. Through the viewpoint of neorealism that has been presented, if we lead to the discussion we discussed, the problem in the journal review is the threat coming from North Korea, making South Korea and the United States maximize their security interests. The condition of the international system has made the United States and South Korea like to build preventive mechanisms to anticipate threats coming from North Korea. From two different viewpoints in the journal, when viewed through the lens of neorealism, the deterrence established by the United States and South Korea is a form of the state of the international system that forced them to build alliance relation, defense system, and prevention mechanism due to the United States and South Korea. That's enough for us to make a presentation today. We do apologize if we have a mistake. So thank you so much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.